All right, let's have a seat and get centered in. Just taking a moment to connect down to your sit bones, the base of the pelvis, connect them downward. Lift up through the crown of the head. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Take a deep breath in. And a big exhale. Just sink inward so that you can feel muscles, joints, maybe even organs, just checking in with every part of you so that you know what you're working with this morning. And then let's begin a deeper, slower breath. So Ujjayi breath is preferable if you can. And then continue that Ujjayi breathing as you check in with your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, and your sense of connection. And then let's bring our palms together in front of our hearts. Setting the stage for practice today by setting our personal intentions. When you're clear on that, take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Open your eyes. Hands on knees. If you're cross-legged, if your legs are extended, tuck the hands under the thighs. I want you to start with 3 slow torso circles in each direction. Feel into your hips and your low back as you're making your circles. And you can coordinate this with your breathing. Your exhale is while you're leaning forward. Your inhale is while you're leaning back. Change directions when you need to. And as you finish out, just go straight into downward facing dog. Plant your hands, step your feet back, pedal the feet a little bit if you need to. And then find some stillness and find some length in your spine. Take a couple of deep, slow breaths. And slowly walk your feet forward. Keep your knees bent. Dangle in ragdoll. So you're just literally hanging over your thighs, making sure your neck is relaxed. We want the head to draw some length into the low back. And then on your next inhale, arms come up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Just take a moment in Tadasana, feeling your feet connecting downward, feeling your spine rising upward. And then let's take a big breath in. Reach the arms up, and as you exhale, fold forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, look up and lengthen. And then back down. We're going to step back with the left foot. So we've got a right foot forward lunge. And just hold that for a moment. And feel into how your body's doing this morning. And then keep your left hand planted and take your right hand up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and drop the left knee down to the mat. Put your right hand on the inside of your right knee and gently apply some pressure. Remember, you want to roll to the outside edge of that right foot. We don't want to feel it in the knee. We're trying to find some sensation in that right hip, right inner thigh, right outer hip, all around the right hip joint. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Go ahead and bring your right hand down, extend the right leg, flex the ankle and toes. Say hello to that right hamstring this morning. If you strongly flex the foot, you'll also feel your calf, perhaps. And then from here, we're going to bend the right knee, bring the arms up and overhead, tilt the pelvis back, lift the rib cage up, and then allow the hips to sink forward. You should feel this on the front of your left hip. If you can, palms come together and we're going to prayer twist to the right. So once you get twisted, press into your palms. You're trying to lift the torso up a little bit as you twist and look over that right shoulder. Bring both hands down inside the right foot. See if you can get onto your left forearm, perhaps both. Take a moment here, and then if you would like to, you can turn your left toes under and take that left knee off the ground. From here, we'll come up onto our hands and step it back to plank. Hold your plank for a moment. Let's get really firmly engaged in our core here. So you want to be in a straight line. Everything tight around the midsection, as though all of your muscles in the middle of your body are hugging your spine. On your next exhale, drop down knees, chest, and chin. Untuck your toes, slide your arms forward. Let your big toes touch and your heels drop open. I want you to start off with Sphinx this morning. So really pull with your forearms. Make sure your glutes are relaxed so that your low back can lengthen. And then from here, we move back into downward facing dog, pressing tailbone up and back to stretch and lengthen the spine. From here, big step forward with the left foot. Just hold your lunge for a moment. And then keep your right hand planted and take your left hand to the ceiling. We're going to go ahead and drop the right knee down. Put the left hand on the inside of the left knee. Roll to the outside edge of that left foot and press your left leg open. So now we're looking for sensation in that left outer hip, left inner thigh. And then go ahead and extend your left leg. Left hand comes to the outside of it. We want to flex the ankle and toes. Get into that left hamstring and maybe even the calf a little bit. Bend your left knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts back, hips shift forward. Now you should feel this in the front of your right hip. And then palms together, prayer twist to the left. If you can, that right elbow is outside that left near thigh, and we want to press into the palms, lift the torso up slightly as you look over your left shoulder. Both hands come down inside the left foot. See if you can get onto the right forearm, perhaps both of them. And then if it feels okay and you want to, you can turn the right toes under and lift that right knee off the floor again. And then from here, come back up onto your hands and step forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up, stretch. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And then exhale, back down. This time, stepping back with the right leg. So you've got a left foot forward lunge. Hold your lunge for a moment. And then just begin to straighten your left leg. Even if it doesn't go all the way straight, just get a little deeper into that left hamstring. If you can, bend your left knee and raise the arms up and overhead. High lunge. Try and tilt your pelvis back and allow the hips to drop a little bit until you feel this a little more strongly in the front of the right thigh, right hip. Prayer twist if you can, twisting to the left, looking up over that left shoulder. And then we're going to bring the hands to the ground, step back to plank position, and this time take a traditional vinyasa if you can, following your breath. So your plank up here, your upper push-up position is your inhale. As you lower down into Chaturanga, you're going into your exhale. As you rise up into your upward facing dog, it's your inhale. And then downward facing dog is your exhale. From here, step your right foot forward. Nice deep lunge. And then go ahead and extend the right leg just as much as you can. It's all right if it doesn't go straight. Just get a little deeper into that right hamstring. Bend the right knee now. Bring the arms up and overhead. High lunge. Pelvis tilts. Hips sink. You want to try and find more sensation on the front of that left hip. If you can, prayer twist to the right. Left elbow outside that right knee or thigh. You're pushing into your palms to twist and look over your right shoulder. And then hands down and step forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And then back down. We're going to step back with the left foot. We're going to spin that heel flat and come up into warrior two. Hold your warrior two for a couple of breaths here, making sure that you're feeling a little bit of an external rotation of the thighs, that everything feels aligned. I want you to take your left hand to your left thigh, reach your right arm up and over for a reverse warrior. Come all the way back up, and if you can, right hand to the floor inside that right foot or ankle, left hand up towards the ceiling. On an exhale, take that left arm over your head for an extended side angle. And then come back up with your right knee still bent. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and fold right down the middle if you can. Take a couple of breaths here. You should feel this in your right hip, right side of the low back. Come all the way back up. Warrior two. Now straighten your right leg. Lengthen out for your triangle pose. So Trikonasana, both legs straight, spine straight, arms straight. Everything lengthening. And then we come back into our warrior two. And I want you to rotate your right foot in slightly. Be mindful of knee issues. Begin to bend your right knee as the left toes point up towards the ceiling. You can have hands on the ground for balance, or if you like, palms together, Skandasana. Take a couple of breaths. And then simply bring your hands on either side of the right foot, swiveling all the way back around onto your left toes. You'll find yourself in a lunge. Step it back to plank and take your vinyasa. Follow your breath through the movements of your vinyasa. And then from this downward facing dog, we take the left foot forward, spin the right foot flat, and come up into your warrior two. Again, just taking a moment to focus for a second on external rotation of the thighs. Good alignment. And then we're going to take the right hand to the right thigh, left arm up and over, reverse warrior. That left knee stays bent. From here, we come back up. If you can, left hand to the inside of the left foot or ankle, right hand to the ceiling. And then on an exhale, right arm overhead for extended side angle. You're going to come all the way back up into your warrior two. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and fold right down the middle. Come back up into your warrior two. Straighten your left leg. Let's lengthen the spine out to the left for triangle pose. Remember, everything is straight and long here. And then I want you to come back up into your warrior two. Rotate your left foot in a little bit. Begin to sink into that left knee, letting right toes point towards the ceiling for Skandasana. So hands can be on the ground or palms can be together in prayer. You want your left heel to be flat, by the way. From here, hands to the mat, just swivel back around, step it back to plank, and flow through your vinyasa. Inhale for the upper part of your plank. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, you can either walk or jump forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Take your feet wide to the edges of the mat. You guessed it, yogic squat. Please try and have your toes pointing forward right now. So we're going to try and keep heels flat, feet parallel,
And begin to bend the knees and come into your yogic squat. Inhale, reach the arms all the way back up. And as you exhale, feet together, palms together. Inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, stick your tailbone back and down and come into Utkatasana. It's kind of like sitting back into a chair. On your next exhale, straighten the legs, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, back down. Step back with your left foot. Spin the heel flat. Adjust the hips if you need to. This time we're coming up into warrior one. So you want to try and get hips to rotate forward. Do the best you can. And then interlace the fingers behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades. This time we're folding forward. Right shoulder to the top of the right thigh. So this is humble warrior. Relax the neck and reach the arms up and over your head. Bring your hands down on either side of the right foot. Gaze forward and begin to straighten your right leg again. So lengthening out a little bit. And then what I want you to do is just swivel up onto the left toes and drop your left knee down. We're gonna walk that right foot over for pigeon. Make sure you flex your ankle, be mindful of any knee issues. And find the place where you can feel sensation in your right glute, your right buttock. If possible, come onto your forearms. Relax your neck. Take a couple of breaths. And then we're going to come back up onto the hands and sit down on the right glute. Open the right knee up to 90 degrees and flex the ankle. Pardon me. And then just see if you can get your right elbow or tricep into the arch of the right foot. If it doesn't go there, please put your right elbow in front of your shin and the palms together. Left leg reaches back as you press into your palms to lift your heart and look over your left shoulder. It's like a prayer twist pigeon. Everything you've done has prepared you for this. Take a couple more breaths. And then from here, you can just take your hands to the mat. Take your right leg straight back into a three-legged dog. Bend the right knee and roll your right hip bone open towards the ceiling. Excuse me. And then you can put your right foot back down. Shift into plank. Follow your breath through your vinyasa. From this downward facing dog, we take the left foot forward. Right foot spins flat. We're back up into warrior one now on the left side. Adjust the hips as necessary. From here, we interlace the fingers behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and fold forward for humble warrior. Taking left shoulder to the top of the left thigh, relaxing the neck and reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. Bring your hands down on either side of the left foot, gaze forward, and begin to straighten that left leg, getting a little bit deeper into that left hamstring. Keep your hips aligned, right? So you kind of want them squared off at the front of the mat. And then we're just going to swivel onto the right toes, drop the right knee down, Walk your left foot over to the right side of the mat and find your way into pigeon. So you want to make sure your knee is okay. Left ankle stays flexed to help protect the knee if necessary. If it really doesn't feel good, you can always substitute a figure 4 stretch on your back if it's better for your knee. So remember, you've got options. You never really have to do what I say. I'm just making suggestions. From here, we're going to go ahead and just sit down over onto that left buttock, that left glute, coming up onto the hands. Open the left knee up to 90 degrees. Flex the ankle. See if you can get that left elbow or tricep into the arch of the foot. If not, it goes onto the floor in front of your shin. Palms are together. We lift the torso, look over the right shoulder, and keep reaching that right leg back. And then from here, just bring your hands back down to the mat. Take that left leg straight up and back as you move into a 3-legged dog. And then you can bend your left knee and roll your left hip bone open towards the ceiling. Put that left foot back down. Shift into plank and take your vinyasa. From this downward facing dog, you can either walk or jump your feet forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So we're going to balance in our standing pigeon figure 4 kind of thing. I don't have a perfect English translation for it. You can call it what you like. This is the one where our arms are extended. We'll cross an ankle over and hinge at the hips. We're going to stand on the right leg first. I want you to cross your left ankle over your right knee, flex the left ankle, and push the knee out to the side so your legs look like a figure 4. Arms are overhead. This helps you balance. Trust me. You're going to start poking your tailbone back like we did in chair pose. Bending the right knee like we did in a yogic squat. Lengthening the torso out over the left shin like we did in pigeon. See how it all comes together? Keep dropping until you feel this in your left buttock. And then come back up and plant your left foot back down. Same thing on the other side. We're going to stand on the left foot. You're going to cross your right ankle over the left thigh, just above the knee. Flex that right ankle to protect your right knee and press the leg out. Arms are overhead for balance. Here we go. Hinging at your hips, poking your tailbone back while you bend your left knee, lengthening your torso out over that right shin. Come back up, right foot down, palms together, feet together. Inhale, reach the arms up, stretch. Exhale, fold all the way forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, back down. You can either walk or jump back to plank position and flow through a vinyasa. Now, from this downward facing dog, we're going to be going into pigeon one more time. I want you to take your right leg up in the air, 3-legged dog. Bend the right knee, roll your right hip bone open, downward facing scorpion. Take your right leg underneath you with the knee bent. Find your way into pigeon, coming onto the forearms if you can, flattening out if your body's flexible enough to do that. And then what we're gonna do is keep the legs like they are. Come back up onto your hands. Now, your hips may self-adjust in this, and that's okay. Let the hips roll if they want to. We're gonna reach the left arm underneath, kind of like threading the needle, right? Right arm either reaches up towards the ceiling or back behind you to grab right toes. Come all the way out of that. Downward facing dog. Pedal the feet if you need to. And then shift into plank and take a vinyasa. From this downward facing dog, left leg goes up, three-legged dog. Bend the left knee, roll the hip bone open, downward facing scorpion. Swing your left leg underneath you. Coming into one leg, king pigeon. Take a couple of breaths, forearms or flattening out, whatever feels good to you. And then you keep your legs like they are, come up onto your hands. And this time your right arm is scooping underneath you like threading the needle. Remember, if your hips roll, it's okay. Left hand to the ceiling if you like, or you can reach around behind you and grab left big toe. Come all the way out of that. Downward facing dog, pedal the feet if you need to. Shift into your plank and flow through a vinyasa. From this downward facing dog, you can either walk or jump forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Turn sideways on your mat. Take a relatively wide stance, but not super wide. Slight external rotation of the feet. Please don't wing the feet way out. But for most people, it's too hard to keep the feet completely parallel. So compromise. What we're gonna do is bend the knees. Use your outer hip strength to press the knees out to the side. Now raise your arms overhead. Keep your chest lifted. Start pushing the tailbone back, leaning out. You'll notice it's the same back and reach that we did in our balance earlier, but you want your knees pressing out. Now what you should be feeling is your glutes are stretching. Stay with it. Hang in there, breathe. Don't round your back. Your heart and your face are forward. Couple more breaths. Hands to the mat. Make sure your feet are now parallel. Relax your neck. Take a couple of breaths here. And then from here, go ahead and inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, bring your feet in just a little bit to the distance that you want them for your yogic squat. Heels are flat, feet are parallel. Bend your knees, drop your hips, take a couple of breaths. And then go ahead and put your buns down and extend your legs, find your sit bones, and come into Dandasana. So your heart is lifted, your spine is straight, legs are active, you're just kind of checking in. Done a lot of hip openings so far. So notice how that whole region's feeling. Make sure you're still connected to an Ujjayi breath. Notice your thoughts, emotions, and energy. And then inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, extend your rib cage out over your thighs. In other words, as we forward bend, we're going to keep the heart and chest facing forward. We're lengthening the spine so that we can stretch the gluteal muscles and vice versa. 2 more breaths here. And then come on up. We're gonna go into a pose that I'm really horrible at, Gomukhasana, cow face. So I'll talk you through it. Please don't think that I'm gonna be a good demonstration because my legs don't like this one. But here's how we're gonna get into it. I want you to take your right thigh over your left thigh. You're gonna bend your right knee. And what we're trying to do is get the right knee to literally stack on top of the left knee. Now, if you've got knee issues going on, maybe this is where you're at. If you can, you're gonna go ahead and bring the left leg back, and hopefully your knees are somewhere close to vertically stacked. Mine are not, yours may be. So from here, the idea is to have the right glute on the ground and the heart lifted. For me, I already feel a little bit of a stretch in my right hip. Now, for those of you who are more flexible, please feel free to just lean forward over your legs. If you have happy shoulders, to finish out the pose, you would reach your right arm up into the air and then behind you, like you're gonna touch behind your shoulder blades, and then reach the left arm around and clasp fingers. Take a couple of breaths. You can do this with or without the arm position. That's totally your choice. And then release. Extend your legs back out. Give them a good wiggle. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So you're gonna keep your right leg straight. Pardon me. Bring your left knee as much as you can on top of the right one. And again, for some of you guys, this is a piece of cake. For some of us, it's a little more challenging. And that's why I have you going into it this way. In case you need to keep your right leg straight, it's okay to do that. If you can, you're gonna go ahead and bend the right knee and bring that foot back a little bit. Again, we're trying to get both glutes down. And so you can always find out where you're tightest, right? So for those of you who are stacked beautifully and feeling nothing, fold forward if you would like to. Those of us that have tighter hips are just trying to get that left glute flat. And if you would like to finish the pose, the left arm reaches up and behind the back, the right arm reaches around and the hands clasp. And then we're gonna just unwind, extend the legs out, give them a good wiggle. Bring the soles of the feet together. So first you're gonna have your heels just kind of moderately close to your backside. Put your hands on the ground for a really straight spine. Press the knees out to the side and down towards the ground. And then we're gonna keep the soles of the feet together, but extend them way out in front of us. Clasp your ankles, and you can either extend your spine forward, or in this one, if you'd like to round forward and try and put your head on your feet, you're welcome to do that too. They'll feel a little different. You should feel a little something in the outer hips, but if you keep your spine extended, which is with face and heart forward, you might feel it in the sacrum. And if you round down and take your head towards your feet, you might feel it more in the upper and mid back. You decide what's best. Take a couple more breaths. And then come on up, extend your legs, give them a really good wiggle. And then we're gonna go ahead and roll onto our backs. Hug the knees in and give yourself a good side to side rock. And then all we're gonna do here is that same extended bound angle. So here's the deal. You bring the soles of the feet together, you grab the outside edges of the feet. Now, instead of pulling your heels towards your groin, what you want to do is open up at the knee joint. Your feet should be together, but kind of over your face. And then you pull down towards your face. If you can, you're welcome to wrap the forearms over the feet and clasp the elbows. Again, you should feel this kind of in your sacrum. Take a couple of breaths. And then release that, hug the knees. Keep your right knee hugged in, extend your left leg all the way out onto the floor. And then we're going to transition this into a twist. So your right arm's going to open out to the right and you're going to twist to the left. And you know, if you want this to be deeper, you hook the toes of the right foot inside or behind the left knee or thigh. If you need less, you can either untuck the toes or even bend both knees. And that will make it a little more comfortable for some of you. Take a couple of breaths. And as you're breathing here, just kind of begin the process of letting go. We start to release some of the tension in the body. On your next inhale, come on back up, hug your right knee in, bring your left knee up to meet it, rock side to side. Keep your left knee hugged in, extend your right leg all the way out. Just keep that left knee hugged in for a moment. And then we'll transition into a twist to the right with the left arm opening out to the left, head turning to the left. Either hooking the toes of the left foot inside or behind that right knee or thigh, or letting that foot just come to the front, or bending both knees. You get to decide. Start relaxing here. On your next inhale, come on back up. As you exhale, hug your left knee in. Bring your right knee up to meet it, rock side to side. We're going to go into true dead bug today. So you're going to separate the knees. Your arms reach inside the legs, between the legs, to grab the arches of the feet. You vertically stack your ankle over your knee, which means your lower leg is vertical, straight up and down. And you've got your hands on the arches of the feet and you're pulling straight down towards the floor. Pardon me. And your internal intention is to kind of get your tailbone flat. You should feel this in your glutes. You should feel it in your hamstrings. Take a couple more breaths here. Then you can slide your hands around to the outside edges of the feet and begin to wiggle, happy baby. So you're just exploring. You've done quite a bit of hip work today. See how everything's feeling in those hips. Really be mindful as you move organically. And if you find a spot that still feels a little tight, pause there, breathe into it, release anything that you need to let go of. When you feel ready, pardon me, put your feet flat on your mat with your ankles and knees together. We're going to drop both knees to one side as we exhale. Bring them back up on an inhale and drop them both in the opposite direction on your next exhale and bring them back up. And just continue this gentle, slow roll of the hips in time to the breathing. This just affords your back and hips the opportunity to really relax and settle before we move into Shavasana. The next time that your knees come up to the center, let them drop open away from each other so that the soles of the feet are touching on the mat. Just relax for a moment. And then the next time you inhale, press your low back into the mat. So you're basically tilting the pelvis back, allowing the muscles that run on either side of your spine to just lengthen a tiny bit more. This should be a pretty easy thing to do. Your breathing should just be normal. And so the next time you breathe out, you completely relax. And you're going to feel that natural arch come into your back again. Just hang out here for another breath. And then one more time, breathing in, flattening the low back, pressing it into the mat, holding it while we breathe. And then exhale and release. Begin to extend your legs. Find just the right distance apart for your legs. Maybe it's the same as always. Maybe it's different today. Maybe they're closer together, or maybe they're farther apart. Once you find the correct distance for your legs, allow the feet to just flop either in or out. In other words, your thighs will naturally rotate in or out. Allow the natural relaxation of the body. Then I'd like you to feel into your glutes, your buttocks. Make sure you're not holding any tension there. Completely relax them. You'll feel them get heavier and slightly spread onto the floor. That's a good thing. Make sure that your low back feels lengthened and relaxed. Your mid and upper back feels lengthened and relaxed. Your shoulders are not squeezing up by the ears. The neck feels long and relaxed. Your arms are down below your shoulders. Palms are facing upward. There's a little bit of space between your teeth because your jaw is relaxed. Your eyes are gently closed. Eyelids are just floating on top of the eyeballs. We're not squeezing the eyes shut. Your forehead feels smooth. And you take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh it out your mouth. And just allow your body a few more breaths to completely release and relax. You'll notice that your breath also softens and finds a gentle, easy rhythm. So this pose, Shavasana, is so critically important because it allows the physical practice that we just did to kind of sink in, absorb, assimilate, integrate, and become part of us. And we have to do it every practice, and we have to keep practicing. So it's not like when you work out, you get strong, and then cool, you're strong, and that's it. You never have to work out again. You have to keep working out, right? So that you don't lose your strength. In the same way that you don't find inner peace and then say, okay, cool, I found peace, that's it, I'm done. Because, you know, life happens and things change. We're constantly moving towards inner peace, adjusting, adapting. Your body is the same way in your yoga practice. You don't just say, oh, I've relaxed a muscle. Oh, I've integrated this health. Life happens every day and we have to adapt and adjust. And so we do the practice as frequently as possible, preferably every day. And then in Shavasana, we allow this to integrate. So our cells are currently remembering all of the good benefits that just happened in this practice. And our minds are remembering that we can stay focused on one thing at a time. And our hearts are remembering that our true nature is really just love. And our energy is remembering that we're part of everything. So we use Shavasana to remember, to remind ourselves, to reset, recalibrate, and to adapt to life. For the next few minutes, just really rest in that knowledge that right now, at this very moment, you are doing the best thing possible for yourself. Begin to feel back into your physical body. I want you to notice muscles, joints, maybe even organs, and kind of compare that to how you felt when I had you check in at the beginning of class while you were seated on your mat. Notice if anything feels different. Notice your breath. Right now it should be really soft and gentle. Notice any thought processes. Notice any emotions. Notice your energy. Notice how connected you feel. And then you can begin to deepen your breath. You can begin to move your fingers and toes a little bit. When you're ready, take a deeper breath and spread your fingers and toes. And as you exhale, relax. Breathe even deeper and just stretch, stretch, stretch. And again, exhale and relax. Bend your knees. Roll to one side. And then press yourself up into sitting. So you want to find that same nice straight spine, aligned spine. And just know that this body that you're sitting in right now is actually different from the body that you sat in at the beginning of class. Your cells have learned something. They have remembered and reminded themselves of what's good and what's healthy and what's whole. And so you're set for your day. And hopefully you'll remind yourself again tomorrow, and then see me again on Wednesday and remind yourself then. But these practices keep us in our best state of health. And isn't that what it's all about? When our bodies are healthy, so are our minds, and so are our spirits. So for our pranayama today, we're actually going to just do a really basic Ujjayi breath. I want you to listen to the sound of your breath. You have to make that little aspirated sigh sound, and it should come through your nose. So if you've been doing this for a long time, your inhale should sound just like your exhale. And if you're kind of newer to the breath, then it's easier to do it on the exhale, and you can start there. If you're an experienced practitioner, please do this as a 1-to-2 ratio breath, which means your exhale is twice as long as your inhale. If you're new to it, then you're just trying to exhale a little longer than your inhale, but you partially close off the throat. If you were trying to hum at a whisper, it's a really good way to kind of access that. Or I like to think of it as fogging up a mirror, but with my mouth closed. So whatever works for you. Ujjayi breathing, if you're experienced, 1-to-2 ratio breath. If you're newer to it, just do your best. But we want to hear the sound of our own breath. Inhale and exhale. Off you go. As you finish the breath that you're on, allow your breathing to just go quiet and natural. Just taking this moment to savor this instant of health and well-being that you've created, knowing that you can continue to create these instances of health and well-being whenever you choose. You're in charge of that. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Take a moment in gratitude. Gratitude that you live in this amazing body that you're currently inhabiting. Gratitude that the breath you are breathing is keeping that body alive. Gratitude that you have good, sound mental health and this practice of yoga to help you maintain all of that. Take one more deep breath in through the nose. Big sigh through the mouth. We bring our palms to our foreheads, and this reminds us to be present, to just stay in the moment. We bring our palms to our lips, and it reminds us to speak our truth, which of course implies that you must seek and know your truth. And then we bring our palms together in front of our hearts, and it reminds us to keep our hearts open, always open, so that we can connect with each other and connect with something greater than us, and always, always express kindness, compassion, and love. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Namaste.